Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, AEW All Out just got off the air on BR Live. A long show, an amazing show. Some of the matches of the year on here. Not only just in AEW, but all across pro wrestling, some of the matches of the year. There's definitely, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 matches that I gave 4-star or higher to, and there's a couple that are 3.25. It was just an amazing show overall. Sorry, 7 matches I gave 4-star to. So we're gonna get right into this. We have like 14 matches, 14 or 15 matches. There's 11 on the show, 15 matches, 4 pre-show matches. We had a return, an amazing return. Let's get started. All right. Pre-show, buy-in, we had 4 matches. We had the AAA World Mixed Tag Titles on the line. We had champion Sammy Guevara and Melo going up against Ortiz and Ruby Soho. This actually started backstage. You had Sammy Guevara and Melo walking along. You hear a horn honk, and it is a golf cart. We all know what happened at the Stadium Stampede when Sammy Guevara got run over by a golf cart. Well, it happened once again. Ortiz driving. Sammy Guevara got run over by a golf cart. Then it just kind of fought out to the ring. The bell finally rang. The match started. But you know what? Jericho Appreciation Society sticks together. Jade came out. Ty Conte's BFF came out, got involved off and on. It was a nice little starter match. Sammy Guevara and Ty Melo retained the AAA Mixed Tag Titles. I give it 2 3/4 star. Next up, we had the FTW Championship on the line. We had champion Hook going up against Angelo Parker. Not a whole lot to say here. That's kind of a short, sweet, to the point match. Hook got the victory by submission, 1 3/4 star. So it was just kind of short, sweet there. Next up, a match I was really actually looking forward to. This goes back to the beginning of AEW. Kip Sabian. I've followed him since 2018, 2019 in Defiant Wrestling and Rev Pro and some stuff over in Europe. And kind of always had my eye on him. Thought he was a really talented young wrestler. When he first signed with AEW, I'm like, this guy's going to be big. You know, he's not a main event kind of guy, but he's kind of that second tier kind of guy. Going up against Pac for the All Elite or AEW All Atlantic Championship. The first time this title has been defended on U.S. soil. It's actually been defended on multiple Rev Pro shows, and then it's been shown on Dark. So it was just kind of weird because I'm getting ready to watch a couple of those Rev Pro shows where this was actually the main event. It's like, I've kind of already seen this match on Dark, but I haven't watched the rest of the card. But yeah, this is actually a good match. I was enjoying it. I was really hoping Kip Sabian would be able to pull it out. Pac did get the victory and retain, and then we found out during the show that on AEW Dynamite this week, we will actually see another All Elite title defense against Orange Cassidy of Best Friends. So that should be very intriguing how that goes. I know there was talk of a 6-man, so I don't know if they had mentioned at one point about the title being on the line. Then they mentioned the 6-man. When they actually interviewed him, it was more talking about the 6-man between with Lucha Brothers and Pac versus Death Triangle. Death Triangle versus the Best Friends. So we'll see what it ends up being for sure. The main event of the buy-in was Tomohiro Ishii versus Eddie Kingston 2. Yeah, this match did not disappoint in my mind. Go back to the weekend, an amazing weekend of pro wrestling. I still got 2 shows to watch. I still got to watch the GCW Effie's Big Gay Brunch 5, and I still got to watch the GCW Settlement Series. But yeah, we had an amazing weekend of wrestling. We had Sheamus versus Gunther at Clash at the Castle. This reminded me a lot of that match, of the chops and strikes and everything. It literally started as a chop battle. Both, Kingston's chest was red. Freaking Ishii's was red. They just kept chopping each other. And obviously some other moves as well, but it was kind of just a brawl fight kind of feel. Eddie Kingston ended up getting the victory. ended up giving it a 4-star. I enjoyed it so much. It was one of those, holy hell, this is freaking awesome kind of deal. Should have been on the main card. But yeah, I get it 4 stars, so that was pretty exciting. Next up, we had the main card start. We started off with a casino ladder match. There was 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 people in this match. It started off with 2, but every couple minutes, I think it was, somebody else came in. But why there was only X amount of people in the ring, you could still climb the ladder and get the casino thing, casino chip, poker chip. So Wheeler Yuta and Rey Fenix started. They had a good little match, two of them. There's a lot of ladder spots in this. Every time somebody else would come out, there was just like additional ladder spots. We've kind of done these ladder spots so much, it's kind of hard to do new stuff with them. And then Roosh was out third, then Andrade, El Idolo, and there was some actually kind of wondering about the announcers and stuff. How would Roosh and Andrade work together, or would they not? One of the very first spots of it was just Fenix and Wheeler Yuta. Wheeler Yuta flipped, had a ladder laying up outside, and Fenix was standing in front of it, and he flipped onto it, pushed Fenix into the ladder. Roosh comes in and ends up going face first into a ladder right as we got in the ring. Andrade did this cool freaking flipping powerbomb off the ladder with Yuta through it onto another ladder. Next out was Claudio Castagnoli, and then Dante Martin. Dante Martin came in hot and just spot. I mean, jumping off everything, flying through things. Penta and Dante were actually fighting up on the ramp as soon as Dante actually was announced, and hit a Canadian destroyer. We thought Dante was dead because that was a sick Canadian destroyer. Nope, he wasn't. He came back. Later on, they actually did the same kind of Canadian destroyer Penta did on a ladder. Yeah, when you can Canadian destroy somebody onto a ladder, it was sick. And then Penta was the last out, and then we had the Joker. Right before the Joker came out, we had Fenix and Roosh top rope, went through a table, dove through a table, and then we had a masked person come out, covered in black, a group of 5 of them, 6 of them total. We're all like, what is this? Then we have somebody climbing the ladder. You can see his arm. I'm like, okay, who is this? Who can this possibly be? So he climbs the ladder, pulls the poker chip down, rips his mask off. It's Stokely Hathaway. This is not the Joker, because the Joker hasn't been announced yet. By that time the Joker comes out, somebody comes out dressed in all black with this weird looking white mask on, gets in the ring, he hands it to him, they leave. It was W. Morrissey, Lee Moriarty, Austin and Colton Gunn, Ethan Page, and Stokely Hathaway, and a mystery man. The mystery man went to take his mask off, stopped, they left. So we were all kind of wondering who this was. We did find out once the show was over. We did find out who the mystery masked man was, like everyone thought. It was MJF, Maxwell Jacob Freeman. So we'll talk about more of that at the end of the show. But yeah, so the Casino Battle Royal was won by the mystery guy, who was Maxwell Jacob Freeman. So he gets the title shot whenever he wants. So I was kind of hoping to be cashed in tonight, but apparently not. And I'll probably be either cashed in, probably at Full Gear they announced in November. That's fine. We can have a 2-month feud between Punk and MJF. We've had it before. This time, the crowd was actually hot for MJF. They were chanting MJF in Punk's hometown, and Punk is standing in the ring bleeding. So yeah, that was crazy. I give that 4.5. It was freaking phenomenal. Next up, we had the AEW World Trios Championship on the line, first time ever. This was the finals of the tournament. We had the Elite, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks versus Adam Page and Dark Order members Alex Reynolds and John Silver. Obviously, we know the background of Page and Omega, first ever AEW Tag Team Champions. Page, Omega, Cody, and others started AEW. Paige was kind of there from the beginning. The Young Bucks actually asked Paige if they would be his partner. He said no, he wasn't going to be in it. And then Omega ended up coming back, and then Evil Uno got hurt. Silver and Reynolds asked Paige if he would take his place, and he said yeah. So we knew this was going to be the finals. This was a banger of a match. There was a super kick pate between the Young Bucks, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver. Omega did quite a few of his dives. You could see Omega kind of pulling out the playbook, hitting all of his moves. You know, the B-Trigger, the One Winged Angels, just hitting everything multiple times. You could also see some at first little, I don't say dissension, but kind of Paige wanted to take it easy on the Young Bucks and Omega. He kind of was pulling Dark Order back a little bit. So that kind of caused a little ascension there, like what's the deal here? And then eventually Omega and Paige went after each other. Omega actually had a B-Trigger on Paige at one point. Yeah, toward the end of it, one of the last moves, Paige went to hit the buckshot lariat on Omega, and Omega dived out of the way, and he right through John Silver. Omega ended up pinning John Silver. So the Elite, the first ever AEW World Trios champions. I give this 4 3/4. Holy shit, this was a great match. This match is the night for sure. I bet there's gonna be people going 5 for sure on this sucker. Because Omega was it's gonna be 5-star match. Oh, hell no, this 4 3/4. It was freaking phenomenal. Match of the night. Obviously two just matches so far. I'm like hyped. I'm like, oh my god, I can't be like this all night. Oh my god. I was like, it's gonna burn the crowd out the whole night's like this. Thankfully there was enough of the die-off matches that they were able to kind of throw some matches in there, kind of calm the crowd down, bring them back up, calm them down. So it worked, you know. Now I know these shows are a marathon, and I got thinking about it a few months ago. Matter of fact, why? If you think about it, WWE has everything's on Peacock now. So for this year, if you just bought it for the WWE shows, if you didn't buy Peacock for Peacock, you just like, you know what, I'm gonna watch Elimination Chamber. I'm getting Peacock. Then I'm gonna cancel it. Then I'm gonna get this for this month. 6 times you would have bought it this year. Of those 6 times you would have bought Peacock for WWE only, you would have got at least 2 shows all but one time, and sometimes you would have got 3 or 4 shows. So I think because like this weekend, if you would have purchased Peacock just for the weekend, yeah, you would have had it for a month, but you would have spent $9.99 unless you're cheap and went $4.99 with commercials. You would have got Clash of the Castle, and you would have got NXT Worlds Collide. So I think with AEW being the fact it's $50 and Be Live, and WWE is having basically 2 shows for $10, you got to have more bang for your bucks, or people are going to want to spend that $50 to buy it. Now, for me, I'm going to watch it pretty much no matter what, and I'm in a place where I can, $50, yeah, it's a big deal, but it's like I spend X amount of money per month on wrestling, and I know, okay, Labor Day weekend, I want to buy these shows. Well, the next big show that I'm going to buy is going to be Bound for Glory. Now, there'll be some shows, game changer shows in between there, but it's like you got to kind of understand, okay, this is how much I want to spend each month on wrestling. Here's where my money goes, you know. So, and luckily, I mean, I get Peacock for the other stuff on there. So it's kind of like I don't count Peacock as part of my wrestling budget. So, but yeah, I mean, it was so far as like hyped up for 45 minutes here. These 2 matches, it's like it's got to either calm down, something's got to happen because, but it did. It did thankfully kind of go down a little bit here. Next match with the AEW TBS Championship on the line. We had Athena versus Jade Cargill. We had the baddies out there, Kiera Hogan and Leah Gray. They got involved like always. They ended up pulling Athena out of the ring at one point. The fact that Jade Cargill was winning here was 37-0. My guess is they're going to do kind of like a Goldberg type streak with this. So she'll probably get to 100 plus and 0, which is going to be like whatever, you know. But I give the match 2.5. Jade Cargill retained her TBS title. They should never put the title on her at this point, I don't think. I think you kind of let her be undefeated, but you don't put a title on it. And that way you just kind of don't rank her and kind of like don't pay attention to her kind of deal. But yeah, she's got a streak going on. But it is what it is. A lot of Goldberg streak was actually house shows anyway, so it's kind of, you know, a different world now, I guess. But next up, we had the AEW debut of Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. I believe this is actually their first match in AEW, teaming up with their good friend Jay Lethal versus FTR and Wardlow. There's actually a cute moment at the beginning of this. Dax Harwood came out with his 8-year-old daughter after the stage, so that was kind of a cute little moment. And she had a shirt on that said "Fight like an 8-year-old girl." That was pretty neat. Sanjay Dutt had a shirt on that said "Fight like a little," across that girl said "bitch." Like, fuck. It's cool that Dax is bringing everything to attention here with his daughter, you know, 8-year-old fighting cancer, which is sad to say that it happened, but the fact that she beat it, which is amazing. But I get the kind of, yeah, we want to put this in the storyline, but it's like, it's a little tactful by some of the stuff they've said. But yeah, it was Jay Lethal bringing in the machine guns. I thought it was kind of cool because it kind of throws you back to the X Division days of TNA, Sanjay Dutt, you know, Chris Sabin, Alex Shelley, and Jay Lethal, and the fact that it's in Chicago and the machine guns are from Detroit. I thought that was kind of a neat kind of automatic heel thing coming into Chicago. Machine Guns and FTR, I didn't know I wanted it until they announced this match. Now I really want that match. Yeah, that's one of those like, ooh, that would be fun. But yeah, not a lot happened in this match. I mean, Wardlow, 4 power bombs on Jay Lethal to get the pin. It was a good match in between that, but I mean, I ended up giving it 3.25. FTR and Wardlow got the victory. They had a cute little thing at the end. Joe came out with the Ring of Honor TV title, attacked Jay Lethal. Then they had Dax's daughter come out, the 8-year-old girl come out and put her foot on Jay Lethal. The referee counted 1, 2, 3. So technically, Finley, Dax's daughter, pinned Jay Lethal after a beatdown from Samoa Joe, of course. Can't wait for the next Ring of Honor show to see that match, Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe. I'm all in. That reminds me of the TNA X Division days. Next up, we had Ricky Starks and Powerhouse Hobbs. This match actually started off hot. Starks hit that ring hot as can be on the offensive completely, and then the Powerhouse Hobbs, and it was done at that point. It was a nice match. One of those kind of, to be honest with you, it was a Dynamite match or a Rampage match. Powerhouse Hobbs getting the victory. No real surprise there. I give it a 3-star. No real surprise there. Kind of a standard match. Next up, we had the AEW World Tag Titles on the line. We had the Acclaim, Sesame Daddy, versus Swerve in the Glory, Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Whose house? Swerve's house. Of course it's Swerve's house. Some of the back and forth these guys had on the Rampage was kind of cool. The Acclaim, I mean, they're a fun tag team. Anthony Bones does get hurt a lot. That was kind of what Swerve said. I was like, damn, dude. Caster's got a big mouth, but it's fun. That's the biggest thing here is Anthony Bones' knee was, you can see clearly his knee was giving out on him. I don't know if he was acting or if it really looked like it, but it looked like he hurt it pretty bad. Keith Lee went to pounce past Caster, and Max just moved, and he pounced Swerve hard. So I could definitely see something going on there with some friction between those two. Also, Keith Lee looked blowed up about halfway through this match. It's like, dude, I've seen some Keith Lee matches over the years, and yeah, what the hell, dude? He looked Brock Lesnar blowed up there. Caster was able to slam Keith Lee at one point, which is kind of different. He tried it earlier, act like hurt his back, kind of the Hogan Andre kind of thing, where Hogan tried, couldn't do it, tried again, couldn't do it, and then finally did it. It was kind of like that. But yeah, the match was sloppy. A lot of sloppy spots in this match. It was still good, don't get me wrong. Keith Lee ends up pinning Max Caster. There was some big spots in it. I ended up giving it 4, and I know it's kind of weird. I said it's sloppy, but I give it 4-star. It was a 4-star match that could have been better, but if it wasn't for the kind of some sloppy stuff in it. And again, Keith Lee looks so blowed up. I mean, it should have been better than that. Next up, we had the Fatal 4-Way for the AEW Interim Women's Championship, which I'm tired of hearing. Interim Champion. We've had an Interim World Champion. We now have an Interim Women's Champion. Defy Wrestling has an Interim World Champion. What happened to the days of just stripping the champion, crowning the new champion, and then that champion gets a rematch? But now we have to do title for title. That all goes back to WrestleMania 10, the ladder match between Razor and Shawn, because it was title versus title. That was cool. That made it bigger. We have to do that now. I don't think it makes it bigger. Obviously, we know the winner of this is eventually going to face Thunder Rosa, because they got to unify the titles. So we had a Fatal 4-Way: Hikaru Shida, Toni Storm, Britt Baker, and Jamie Hayter. We tell you this match started. There's no way Jamie Hayter's winning this. Britt's not going to let her. Hikaru Shida, former champion. Britt Baker, former champion. The only person not to win a championship in this match besides Jamie Hayter was Toni Storm. Storm, one of the big spots at the pretty beginning of the match. Storm had it looked like a single crab on Shida and Hayter. Hayter and Black were working together some, but you could also see some friction there. Shida was up on the ramp, and Hayter and Britt was wearing her out with the kendo stick. They end up taking her to the back, and we're like, oh, that's not good. Well, like a minute or two later, she comes out carrying 2 kendo sticks and goes after everyone with kendo sticks. But yeah, it's like, okay, is she hurt? Is she not hurt? One thing that was really kind of interesting is Jamie Hayter actually had a pin going on Shida. Ref counted 1, 2. Dr. Britt Baker pulled Hayter out of the ring. So yeah, that started a little friction there. Britt tried to pin Hayter after that. She kicked out, and then Toni Storm ended up getting the pin, actually pinning Jamie Hayter. So Toni Storm, your new AEW Interim Women's Champion. So we are headed probably full gear. We will have AEW Women's Champion Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm, if not sooner. Next up, we had a joke. Just you can't tell me why we did this. Just announce there's a problem to begin with, that someone's hurt, and we're gonna just not have the match instead of wasting our time like this. Christian Cage versus Jungle Boy, Jack Perry. You had Christian come out first. You had Christian go up to Jack Perry's mom, and she ends up slapping Christian. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. She's in there in the end. Christian come out, and he had a brace on his left arm. And I didn't actually notice this. I saw this on Twitter. Brian Alvarez tweeted this out. I'm like, oh, shit, he did, didn't he? Possible torn tricep is what Brian Alvarez is reporting. So you have Jungle Boy come out, Jack Perry come out. You had Luchasaurus. Luchasaurus was with Christian, and then he went with Jungle Boy against Christian. And so Jungle Boy come out, and he goes back to over to kind of where the tunnel is, and motion for expected Luchasaurus to walk out. Luchasaurus came from the other tunnel, and you can use this. It looked weird, and then all of a sudden he attacks him. And then, if you remember the stage, right in front of the stage where the pyro goes off, there's like grates. He ended up choke slamming him or slamming him on the grates, which actually caused a burn on his back. You could see the grate impressions on his back. And then he's literally attacking him up there. Then he goes down below, picks him up, he threw him off stage, carries him to the ring, and he throws him in the ring. He's laying there. He stands up. They start the match. Christian hits a a spear. Jungle Boy kicks out. Christian hits kill switch. 1, 2, 3. Your winner, Christian Cage. Yeah, I give it 0 star. Typically, matches that I will 0 star would be like a Money in the Bank cash in, like a 24/7 title defense in WWE, unless it's a predetermined match. If it's like backstage, I give 0. I give this 0. There was no point. I mean, it was like 2 moves and done. Obviously, Christian's hurt. Why do we even have this match? Why not just say he's hurt and be done? But next up, we had the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson versus the Lionheart, Chris Jericho. This was a technical classic. This reminded me of some of the Chris Jericho Eddie Guerrero days back in WCW Cruiserweight time. There was a Saturday night WCW Saturday night on TBS. It's 5:05 to 7:05 every Saturday night, right, for the Braves games. And I would watch it. That's where I started watching wrestling from. And there was a match, probably mid 2015 or mid 95, I believe, 96 era. It was Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit. It wasn't what you would classify as a banger of a match or a 5-star match like I would do now, but it was one of those matches where it's like it was so good. It was just a pure, guys going at it and wrestling and fighting. This match was that. This is like Jericho and Chris Benoit back in the day in WCW, go for the Cruiserweight title kind of match. Just mat-based, ground-based, submission, not a Zack Sabre Jr. submission kind of match where it's just over-the-top submissions, but it's just, wrestling holds, this, that, and the other. It's like these guys were just banger of a match. I ended up giving it a 4.5. Maybe I overrated, maybe I didn't, but that's how I felt. And behind the referee's back, you had the Judas part of Jericho come out, the heel Jericho come out. He had a low blow, then he hit Judas effect and got the pinfall. It was a little dirty, a little dirty, but a little dirty playing the game, got action coming out. It was still a banger match. Lionheart, Chris Jericho getting the victory over American Dragon, Bryan Danielson, 4.5 star. Next up, we had another 6-man tag. This was third 6-man tag? So we had the Trios title. We had the FTR match. Yeah, so this is the third 6-man tag in the show. House of Black, Malachi Black, Buddy Matthews, Brody King went up against Sting, Darby Allin, and Miedo. It's kind of thrown together, and with all the news going on about backstage of Malachi Black wanting out of his contract, I was wondering what the outcome of this match would be. Miedo refused to tag Darby twice. So it's like you kind of knew there was issues there. It was just kind of there. Everybody kind of did a few things. Sting came in, did a couple things. Sting spit mist in the face of Malachi Black, which is what Malachi Black has done to everybody else, which led to Darby Allin getting the pin on Malachi Black. I don't know truly what's going on. I know House of Black has been doing some stuff in House of Glory Wrestling and doing some other independent stuff, so I don't know if they just went out of AEW or if they actually want to go back to WWE. I don't know. I know supposedly rumor has it Triple H called some AEW talent and Tony Khan sent a cease and desist order. So we'll see where that goes. But here, Sting, Darby Allin, and Miedo got the victory, 3.25 star. And then our main event, AEW World Heavyweight Title on the line, champion Jon Moxley versus Chicago-made CM Punk. This match, the crowd was hot. It was, at one point, just nothing but CM Punk chants. Then it went CM Punk, let's go Mox, CM Punk, let's go Mox. Starts off with Mox sitting Indian style in the ring, a.k.a. CM Punk, just flipping Punk off. That was crazy. Punk, within the first 2 minutes of the match, Punk hit a GTS. Got 2 count. They go fighting off into the crowd, which is kind of cool. Once they came back from fighting in the crowd, and Punk had hit the post, and I don't know if he cut himself, if he bladed, if that actually cut him open. But from that point on, it looked like a GCW match, which Jon Moxley is the GCW World Heavyweight Champion. But yeah, it was just like blood. I mean, he was bloody. Punk was. And then Mox kept going after it, hitting it, elbowing it, just kind of like rubbing his fist, trying to open it up more. He's like, Punk's kind of lost a lot of blood here. He's busted open so bad. Another point here, Punk hit a GTS, the second GTS of the match. But I guess because of lack of blood, he lost of blood, he kind of fell to his knees. When Moxie hit the GTS, Mox bounced back onto the rope and then bounced on top of him. So he's laying on top of him. He picks him up. It's another GTS. And that's when he ended up getting the victory there. But yeah, this was one of those great back and forth matches. Just the storytelling with it. I thought it was a lot of storytelling. I ended up giving it 4.25. Now, you knew at this point something was going to happen. And here's how we knew something was going to happen. If you watched the end of that match, you could see the cameras starting moving around the ring and started shooting up the ramp. So at that point, it goes completely black. You hear a voicemail from Tony Khan basically begging MJF to come to All Out. I will pay you X, and they bleeped out the money and all this. You don't even need to sign a contract extension. Just come. This is what we'll do. But I need a word from you that you're going to be there. So you have this weird music play. Then you have Ishii, the same guy that won the Casino Battle Royal. I've ever seen a ladder match. He turns around, rips the mask off, so it's kind of back to the camera. He grabs the scarf, puts the scarf around him. MJF's music hits. He comes out and just stands there. That crowd was like, MJF, MJF. As Punk is standing in the ring, bloody, with a title, they're chanting for MJF. I'm like, oh my God. He flips the crowd off. The crowd's still chanting for him. And that's how it went off the air. I was really hoping he would actually cash that chip in like he would in Money in the Bank. But hey, we know we get Punk MJF for the title. This is the transition to put the title on MJF. I've been wanting that for 3 years. I was an MJF fan before there was an AEW. So I've been wanting this for a long time. But that is AEW All Out. All 15 matches or whatever it was. This show started at 6, got over at 11. So long. Think about God, this is a holiday, because if this was not a holiday, I got to get up in 4 hours to go for work tomorrow. Thank God I'm off. Holiday, I'm off, and I'm on vacation. So, fun times. As always, thanks for watching our sports show. Make sure you check out the GCW Art of War Games 2 review. Check out the GCW BL Black Label Pro 4-Cup Stuff review. Worlds Collide review. Clash of the Castle review. Tomorrow I will get the review up for FB's Big Gay Brunch 5. And then this week, NFL Week 1, NCAA Week 2, 3 NASCAR previews. The NASCAR Camp World Truck Series, the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series. We had 2 amazing races in racing this weekend. All that coming to Robert Sports Show within the next 3 days. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports center content.